The reasons why we value 1080, that experience that we had with Ola, we definitely value training on the horizontal vectors as a group, our entire staff. We saw the need to be able to quantify those horizontal vectors, and what we really learned as we started to quantify those vectors is the difference in chain reaction biomechanics of a vertical displacement and a horizontal displacement. And so we have found athletes that may have an asymmetry from right leg in the force plate jumps on valve. You put them into a left lateral movement, that leg is actually stronger in that force signature than what it would be in the vertical. Now all of a sudden it started to make us really think about what would be the important things that how we could measure, but how we could train and capture more information so we can make better decisions for our athletes. This is a huge piece, the ability to make the machine behave differently. So the isokinetic, the eccentric overload, I just think you create so much density in one rep that it's just been super valuable. It really has. To be able to create adaptations faster, I think is super relevant. And it took us a while to learn, you know, the Goldilocks piece to that, and we're still learning. And we're excited to learn from you guys how you guys use it. The biofeedback piece has been huge. So our guys are looking at the screen, they're ultra competitive, they're gonna try to beat it every time. The hard part with biofeedback, just not letting the technique actually break down, you know? And so that's been a learning curve for us, but that's been a huge piece. The ability to travel with this unit has been massive for us. It just allows us to keep our training strategy seamless and integrated. We travel 41 times, and the ability to travel with that has been huge. And then really and truly, we feel like the 1080 allows greater transferability to sport-specific movements that are very relevant in the game of basketball. So that's the why. This is how we implement it. We use it in 3 different force signatures on the force speed continuum. We have a linear footprint, a lateral footprint, and a multi-directional footprint. We would use the machine to create more force base, so you'll see core movement programs, anterior, posterior lunges. We'll move it into locomotor program, more power and speed based, and then we will test. And so we have a test for each one of these footprints, okay? But a core movement, a locomotor pattern, and a test for each one of these. We color code the planes, because sometimes our guys don't understand sagittal, frontal, and transverse, so you could say red, green, or blue, and they're much easier to understand that. So we tried to simplify the system by color coding it by crayon. Really, it's more for me than those guys, but it seems to have worked really well in demonstrating.
We got 2 stations. One is going to be the isokinetic force application, right? We're teaching that first step out of a base stance if you were to relate it to basketball. So we got this slow, heavy, resisted movement, and then ideally we're going to progress to this quick, powerful movement, same exact movement, right? So I'm going to get into the machine. We got the pulleys on, and we got the isokinetic setting, right? Because this thing, like Todd said, you got to ramp up into it. You can't just yank yourself in. I got this point of stability right in front of me, right? I'm going to need it for this isokinetic position. What I'm going to do is get this good positive shin angle. I got this side in extension, big toe and hip, right? I'm going to basically ramp into this point of stability. I'm going to push my feet and drive forward in that first step of acceleration, basically. So I'm here, and I'm ramping in, and I'm driving up, okay? And normally we'd probably go about 3 reps, but yeah, I'm gonna have this good posture, pull myself into that hip extension, okay? Ideally, we just did the force application component. Now we're doing the same exact movement, but for power. So obviously, that good spectrum of going heavy and slow and then going quick and fast to train power, right? We all know this. But look, I'm gonna do the exact same thing. This time I could push myself right into it. I don't got to ramp up because I don't have the isokinetic setting. Same exact movement, positive shin angle, extended in the back, and then I'm driving up, okay? So it's just a power exercise for acceleration, driving forward, trying to create good mechanics. But it'd be good for you guys to try the isokinetic first and then come over here and try this, train the effects, you know?
All right, so on this side we have the isokinetic lateral hip shifts. I'll show you guys a few reps, and over here we'll have the power-based movement. So on the Isokinetic, what we'll do sometimes with some of the guys, stepping out, this is a pretty heavy concentric and eccentric overload. So on the way back, it's working on the decelerative component. All right, so right now I'm coaching up the shin angles, be able to create that horizontal production left to right. And all I'm doing as I'm going to my left is a gradual buildup. So obviously you don't want to jerk at the machine, but you're just gonna go build it up, build it up, build it up. And I can come back here and control it on the way back. So right now, I'm building it up, trying to get into that hip as much as possible. And as it's yanking me back, I'm still controlling it on the eccentric. Here, and sometimes you can include a step with it. So I go here, step, build it up, build it up, build it up. Just like you're stepping on a gas pedal, not 0 to 100, but just kind of building it up. Here, and if the speed is too slow or too fast, I can manipulate that for you guys, all right? On the power one, right now, this can be for like pre-game activations, depending on, now we're just working on speed, depending on the time of the year, training phase for the day, training mode for the day. So I might go into just a quick one lateral shuffle. Here, I might go 2 out, 2 in. So working on accelerative, decelerative. I might go here, here, now it's yanking me back, here. I can do a leap to a shuffle, so I might go here. I can do leap to 2 shuffles, here, here. If I want an eccentric overload where it's heavy on the way back, so it's light going this way, heavy on the way back, depending on what you want to work on. So now, this will be quick, but then this will be heavy. So here, here. Now I gotta really control it. Here. So I'll let you guys play around with it. I'll be here to just be able to change some of the weights and speeds for you.
We'll do like presses. So a great example we'll do here is we'll do ipsilateral, contralateral. We'll do some sling pattern pressing. We'll put the left foot in front. So I'm really putting the stress in my right front hip, tying to my left shoulder, and trying to keep that back foot straight as well. And we'll just do presses with that eccentric overload, so we're getting some good core work as well, rotating. Here we are in obviously a contralateral. We do IPSA as well. We get very creative as well with our rows. So we telescope up and down, low row, high row, you name it. I mean, there's so much resistance. You can do half needling, throw a pad in there, and you can do full lat pulls and whatever you want to do. But with our different rows that we'll do here, we like to use the eccentric overload a lot of times just because you just don't get that opportunity to use that much with Kaisers or your typical pulleys. And to be able to have more time under tension, we'll use this a lot during some of our hypertrophy and capacity stages. We can really get some good time under tension. So just we're not creating, we're not reinventing the wheel here, but just different rows. We'll fight it slow on the way in, really load that post tip, right shoulder, push and pull at the same time. We'll lower it obviously in the frontal plane. We gotta go a little lighter, but we'll have it low. We can reach down. We'll keep it high. We'll do frontal plane rows. We do in basketball. We'll do a lot of drop step and rows. We get very creative with how we use it. Let's go over here and have some fun with some core stuff as well. Overload or some perturbations. You kind of had to produce it yourself. Or the olden days we put like a weight. If you remember, you put a weight on the bands and just kind of here. The eccentric overload will do it for you. And I'm gonna really encourage some of you guys to get in here and try it out. But well, here's a good one right here, just with an overload. Doesn't matter, split stance, base stance, get as creative as you want. But because of the eccentric overload, I can allow myself to get fast in the rotation, but it's killing me in the anti-rotation, right? Then drive through, get creative as you want. But once you start getting fatigued, now we just kind of sit. If you just want to hold like a Pallof hold, if I lose my for a second, it grabs you. Now, also, we set this one on Isokinetic. You can do, we do some like long lever, short lever. So it's not set on Isokinetic. I'll set it Isokinetic. So now 0.3. We probably won't do anything slower than 0.2 because that's, we want to be careful with our athletes, right? Longer excursions, we'll probably do like if a big chop, we might do 0.4, 0.5, because that's putting a lot of force for a long excursion, right? So let's go I'll go 0.4, apply. Now the concentric load is still the load in the handle, but it still doesn't really affect the speed, okay? So we'll get some base stance, and this is, again, remember what Todd said, we're not going full gas. We're getting there, and with our athletes, we'll probably tell them if we have if we're doing a 4 to 5 rep exercise, we'll say the first 2 to get to like 80%, get a feel as you ramp up, and then kick the last two. So this is like a short lever, kind of like slow, and then we'll bring it in, and then push.
Now we will set up the Quantum with eccentric calf raise, isokinetic calf raise, sorry. And with the isokinetic mode, you tell the machine to use a certain speed limit, and then it will accommodate, and sorry for the lack of English here, and adjust the load based on your effort. So instead of controlling the resistance by a mass, we set it to a mass, but the machine will adjust the resistance based on your effort. So for a short excursion like the calf raise, we need a really, really low speed limit, and the machine will change the resistance really, really quickly, meaning it will change 20,000 times each second, which is really fast. So you should not noticing it adjusting to your effort. So please, all the volunteers that want to try. So now we're targeting the peak force of the exercise. So yeah. Very nice. First repetition. Yeah, more. There we go. I see the face. Super nice. Thank you. We can see that these are your force traces, force curves. We can use your already created value if you say, okay, I want to have a competition going now. So then we can set this as a target. So now you have to get the green. Now you have to generate more force than 1457. You can always go in and manually set a target. So you don't have to dose it by reps. You can dose it by performance against the speed, or in this case, force. Obviously, speed is not interesting to track here, since speed should be very low, should be consistent. So whatever you do, you control with a very low speed limit to get full motoric recruitment throughout the range of motion. Let's use the same, so we can log left and right side. Again, you don't have to max it, but
left and then right.
Yeah. So then we can start to collect asymmetries. Super. You want to do one more on this? So yeah. So why not? Thank you. Excellent. And one more, please. Thank you so much. Then we can again start to look at, click away these false reps. So now we can also show average. We can show the left and right side asymmetry. So if this was more data, you would have a negative 10% on the right side for force. We can also start to look at the force traces. So force traces looks similar, so same exact, probably a little bit stronger if this was real. So then we can track how force traces change over time. So again, if we're in a rehab situation, if we don't have a baseline, we can always use the healthy side as some sort of a reference too. I mean, you won't always catch a baseline for all the exercise there is in the world. So, and is one way of using the tech to detect asymmetries for force.